Everything to do with the Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot drama is also not helping at all in the least. In fact, it's only making things worse for the Disney image, for the overall Snow White box office results.
Disney doesn't know what a Disney princess is anymore, which is crazy.
What was this Academy Awards? Anyway, feminist Conor McGregor.
Who the fuck is that guy?
It's a weird walk for a weird broad, and I don't like her.
It is, and it's really mean to put her next to Gal Gadot.
It just takes a beloved movie and makes it much more boring and much less realistic. The movie is really, really bad. The primary suffering is being sent in by my company to watch a children's movie as a single man, like 2 p.m. on a Thursday. That was the first part that was a little bit weird, but I was basically the only person in the theater.
Nobody could have predicted the behind-the-scenes chaos that plagued Disney's Snow White. It wasn't just a matter of budget mismanagement or a poorly executed remake. The drama reportedly escalated quickly, and it all came down to one name: Rachel Zegler. From the very first day of filming, the tension between the two lead women was palpable, with one of them fiercely trying to maintain a professional atmosphere, while the other seemed intent on stirring up conflict.
Very few people wanted to see this. Even the little kids who like Disney movies, even they don't seem to be turning up in droves for the movie because the movie is really, really bad. And so I've got some bona fides here on being fair. The movie was absolutely terrible. Every way that the movie differed from the beloved 1937 original, it was worse. The movie was like you took the original Snow White and just put everything through this filter of liberalism. It wasn't through a filter of Japanese anime, it was through a filter of liberalism. So from the casting to the class politics, the politics, the regime politics, everything about it was liberal. Snow White is generally understood to be a very, very white person. And in this case, they decided, nope, no, that doesn't make any sense. So I don't think we're allowed to say that, right? I was referring to the movie as sand beige.
The other woman was reportedly outspoken, defiant, and, according to some, even disruptive. If anyone thought these tensions were merely background noise, they were in for a shock. The chaos on set allegedly had far-reaching consequences, even affecting the film's disastrous box office performance. Millions of dollars seemingly vanished in an instant, leaving fans bewildered. And now, all signs seem to point to one person: Rachel Zegler, the rising star, who became entangled in one controversy after another, appears to be at the heart of it all.
It's no really knock on her. If you did the autobiography of Malcolm X, would you cast Tom Hanks? If you remade Moana, would you cast a little Irish guy? No, you wouldn't. So that was off the top.
It is not racist to suggest that a character who is described in the original as skin white as snow, that is literally how the character is described in the original, that's a character description in the same way that, as you mentioned, in Moana, this bizarre fixation with race shifting everything, but only in one direction by Disney, obviously is quite strange to the politics of it, because obviously this was a big thing for Rachel Zegler, the star of the film. It was a big thing for all the left-wingers who made the movie.
This all culminated in one of Disney's biggest flops to date, and now, Gal Gadot is reportedly revealing all the behind-the-scenes details. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're not talking about petty disagreements over trailers or backstage chatter about who got the prime billing. No, this goes much deeper. It's a clash of powerful personalities, with strong, conflicting opinions on global issues spiraling into an all-out, no-holds-barred confrontation.
There's things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood.
They replace the prince with a common criminal. So there is a prince-like figure, but he's no longer a prince. He's a criminal. And I think this plays first into the class politics of the left, which hates even the very idea of aristocracy or nobility. He's right. They clearly want to diminish the love story. I think after the backlash from those comments a year and a half ago, whenever they were, they did beef up the love story a little bit, but nevertheless, he plays an ancillary role. And you see this in the fuller scope of this politics.
The Snow White remake was supposed to be Disney's next big success, but behind the scenes, things quickly spiraled out of control. The drama reportedly started with two of its stars, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, who clashed from the very first day on set. Rachel, fresh off her success in West Side Story, arrived with a confident attitude that some crew members saw as untouchable. She wasn't afraid to voice her opinions on everything, including the film itself. Gal, famous for playing Wonder Woman, came onto the set with her own respected reputation. But from the beginning, it was clear that the two weren't going to get along. Rachel made waves early on by dismissing the original Snow White as outdated. She argued that the story needed a complete overhaul, which she made clear to everyone on set. She even criticized the portrayal of the evil queen, a role Gal had worked hard to prepare for. This rubbed Gal the wrong way, as she wanted to put her own spin on the iconic villain while maintaining respect for the classic. As filming continued, the tension grew. Rachel, known for being outspoken on social media, began to voice her opinions on everything from global conflicts to modern feminism. Her boldness wasn't limited to social media, it found its way into every conversation, including those on set. Gal, on the other hand, kept her political beliefs mostly to herself, but the friction was inevitable. Rumors of clashes over politics, with Rachel's pro-Palestinian stance and Gal's Israeli heritage, only added to the tension. Behind the scenes, staff members noticed the divide. Some supported Gal's calm professionalism, while others rallied behind Rachel's desire to modernize the story. The set became increasingly charged, with arguments over every detail, lines, costumes, even minor script changes. Everything was heightened by the growing animosity between the two actresses. When the time came to promote Snow White, things got even worse. Fans expected to see the stars team up in interviews, but instead, the two appeared separately. There were only scattered social media posts and brief interviews, leading to rumors of a major falling out. Official reps claimed scheduling conflicts, but the public wasn't convinced. Rachel made things worse by doubling down on her stance that the original Snow White was outdated. Her comments added fuel to the fire, and Disney's PR team was caught in damage control. Gal reportedly distanced herself from the drama, but it was clear that the growing controversy had overshadowed the film's promotional efforts. When Snow White finally hit theaters, it was a massive failure. Despite Disney's $250 million investment, the film grossed only $168.6 million globally, far below expectations. Fans criticized everything from the casting choices to the public drama surrounding Rachel, and much of the blame fell squarely on her shoulders. Her outspoken remarks alienated many longtime fans, and Disney insiders pointed to her as a key reason the film failed. In the aftermath, Disney executives scrambled to re-evaluate their approach to remakes. Reports claimed that the failure of Snow White led to the suspension of the planned Tangled live-action remake. Some insiders argued that if Rachel had embraced a more traditional approach, the film might have succeeded. Others defended her, saying the failure was due to poor marketing and story choices. Meanwhile, Rachel faced backlash on social media. She responded to critics, but her answers only seemed to inflame the situation further. Some fans still supported her, believing the film's failure was more about Disney's reliance on nostalgia, but others felt that Rachel's critiques had damaged the film before it even reached theaters. Gal, on the other hand, remained composed, never publicly attacking Rachel, but she did subtly leak details about the behind-the-scenes drama. As these revelations came to light, Rachel was painted as a disruptive force on set, and her behavior was framed as one of the primary reasons for the film's failure. Gal's version of events further fueled the narrative, turning Rachel into the villain in the public eye. As more details about Rachel's conduct came out, it was revealed that she had constantly undermined Gal's portrayal of the evil queen, criticized the script, and challenged everything about Disney's traditional approach. Some even claimed that Rachel's behavior made it nearly impossible for anyone else on set to focus on their work. What had started as an attempt to modernize a classic had turned into a disaster of egos, politics, and creative differences. Despite all this, some defended Rachel, arguing that the film's failure wasn't entirely her fault. They pointed out that Disney's marketing was flawed and that the story itself didn't resonate with audiences. But many felt that Rachel's combative, in-your-face attitude turned potential viewers off long before they even stepped into theaters. The release of Snow White marked the beginning of a serious crisis for Disney. The company had invested heavily in remakes, hoping to capitalize on nostalgia, but the flop of Snow White led executives to rethink their strategy. Some even speculated that Disney might be moving away from remaking its animated classics altogether, and the failure of Snow White was seen as a cautionary tale of what can happen when creative differences go unchecked. In the end, Snow White became less about the magic of dwarfs, poisoned apples, and true love's kiss, and more about the behind-the-scenes drama that soured the whole experience. The tension between Rachel and Gal overshadowed the film itself, and the consequences of their conflict were felt not just on set, but across the box office. The question now is whether Rachel's career will recover from the controversy or if she'll be forever associated with the Snow White debacle. Similarly, will Gal be able to distance herself from the fallout, or will the rift follow her into future Disney projects? One thing is for sure, the story of Snow White's remake will always be remembered for the off-screen battles that derailed a major Disney production, reminding everyone that even in the world of fairy tales, personal beliefs can turn a hopeful fantasy into a nightmare.